So week one of my client's training program. For every week, as you can see on the right hand side, he works from Monday to Friday from 9 till 5. So obviously I had to work around this and add in bits of training and exercise where I could. Obviously, if we go back to his client profile, he said that the reason why he couldn't exercise as much is due to how busy is his work. But I've been able to work around this and added in exercise programs in the evening that he can do. So we're going to start off with leg training, which is going to include calf raises and also squatting. So obviously for him, he's not a performance athlete. The whole idea of his program is for him, his general benefit of improving his physique and also his strength. So for leg training, calf raises, so he can use the machine in the gym, or if not, he can do it without a machine, so just standing up and raising his calves, but maybe holding a weight, or he could have a bar over his shoulders. So the weight used should be 15 kg, and he should do a total of 12 reps in each set, with 5 sets in total. And also he should do, in this same exercise routine, he should do some squatting. So using a 20 kg bar, start off by doing 2 sets without any added weight to get used to the technique and the feel. So you can complete a total of 10 reps for the first 2 sets. And after the first 2 sets, you can add on 5 kg to the bar and complete another 2 sets of 10 reps. And then finally, you can try a set with 10 kg on the bar for an additional 2 sets of 10 reps. And obviously, it's really important that before he does any exercise, because he's not used to doing exercise, he does a proper warm up of the legs. So for him, it involved leg stretches, and also he could do a couple of minutes on the exercise bike, but at a low effort level, just to get the blood moving to his muscles and things like that. So from the questionnaire I did with my client, one of the things he made clear that he wants to improve is muscular strength for the legs and also the upper body. He's never properly done gym work before, so I'll set him some basic weight exercises to do across the whole 6 weeks. That will include both leg and upper body to begin muscular hypertrophy. So on the Wednesday then, we have continuous training. So for him, I'll do a 20 minutes on the treadmill, running at around 60 to 70% of his max heart rate. So it won't be at a very high intensity at all. Start off at quite a low intensity, because obviously he has high blood pressure and quite a high resting heart rate, which shows that he's obviously got maybe some issues with his heart. So to start off at a low intensity for him and build up that cardiac muscle is going to be really important. That progression is going to be really important for him to avoid maybe any health issues occurring. And for a cool down after he's done the 20 minutes, he should bring the treadmill down to a low speed so that he'll be at walking pace, and for 3 minutes walk on the treadmill to allow for heart rate and breathing rate to gradually return down to resting rate again, because there's a high chance that his breathing and heart rate will be at a significantly high level, even though he's not doing exercise at very high intensity, but just purely down to the fact that he doesn't regularly do exercise, and things like his diet and drinking and smoking means his general health is obviously not at the right level it should be. And finally then, for week one, I've created a lower back strengthening routine. So we should do 15 reps of pelvic tilts to begin with. So pelvic tilts stretches the muscle in the lower back, whilst also strengthening the muscles supporting your back. So firstly, you need to lie on your back with your knees raised off the ground, but feet flat on the floor. Very carefully and slowly lift your pelvis up off the floor as high as you can, before you begin to raise your back. So it's really important that your back remains flat on the floor. So you should get to a point before your back begins to raise where you should stop. And then obviously you return back to normal position again. So I'd like him to complete this motion 15 times, take a 30-second break, and then repeat again. And also I'd like him to do back extensions, so this will help stretching out the back muscle, which will allow for a larger range of movement and also maintain flexibility of the back. The technique involves lying face down on your stomach and propping yourself up by extending out your arms. Your waist downwards should remain flat on the floor, and if done correctly, if it's done correctly, and I'd like him to hold this position for 15 seconds, take a 20-second breather, and then repeat this 10 times. So the whole idea of this lower back strengthening routine, which I'll get him to do multiple times throughout the 6-week training program, is a way of helping to strengthen up his lower back, which he said he gets a lot of pain down there a lot, probably due to his job being very static and maybe sitting at a poor posture when at the wheel. So it's really important for him, if he's going to carry on his job, that he strengthens up his lower back to avoid severe injury going on into later life, but also for the time being also. So moving on to week 2. At the start of week 2, I've got some more lower back strengthening routines. So we're going to start off with knee rolls. So this stretch helps to stretch and mobilize the spine by loosening the muscles in the lower part of the back. So all he needs to do is lie on his back with arms stretched out either side of the body. Keep your knees bent and touching together, and roll them side to side. This should be done with care and shouldn't be rushed, otherwise there's risk of pulling a muscle in the lower back. You should hold each stretch for about 5 seconds before rolling onto the other side. Repeat this 10 times, obviously alternating sides. And after a set has been completed, take a 3-second break and then go on to completing a following 3 sets. So like I said before, it's really important for him, for his back mobilization and flexibility, to do these lower back strengthening exercises to avoid injury becoming worse and to generally build up and help maintain lower back strength. So now I'm going to move on to upper body weight training, which I have on the Wednesday. So that will include a bench press, a bent over row, and an incline fly. So to go into a bit more detail of these exercises. So the bench press, so you lie flat on a bench, holding a barbell with your hands slightly wider than shoulders width apart. Brace your core, press your feet into the ground and lower the bar towards the chest. Extend straight back up to the starting position once it's reached kind of the chest level. So we'd like him to complete 5 sets of 8 reps of these. Only have 5 kg on the first 2 sets, and then try to increase the weight to 20 kg for the last 3 sets if possible. But if this becomes too difficult, obviously the client, if he wants, can experiment with the weight he's working with, but it'd be good for him to stick to my specific structure to help for his body development. So then move on to a bent over row. So we hold a barbell using a shoulder width overhand grip. So his hands just outside of the legs, bend the knees slightly and bend forwards. Pull the bar up towards your sternum, importantly leading with the elbows, and then lower it back down to the starting position. So I'd like him to complete a total of 4 sets with 8 reps in each set. First 2 sets complete without the bar, and then for the remaining 2 add 10 kg of weight, so we can get used to the technique, and then add on a bit of weight to make it tougher for himself. And finally we've got an incline fly. So this involves lying on an incline bench, holding a dumbbell on each hand above your face. Lower them down to either side of your body and then back to the starting position again. I'd like him to complete a total of 5 sets with 10 reps in each set, and throughout all the sets using 2 10 kg dumbbells, obviously 1 in each hand. Once his exercises have been complete, it's really important that he stretches out his upper body, and also gets a nice intake of protein when he gets home to repair and ensure his muscles are nice and repaired for the next session, and he doesn't suffer too much from muscle soreness the following day. And finally, on the Friday in week 2, I'm going to get him to do some continuous training. This time, instead of doing it on a treadmill, I'm going to get him doing some continuous training on an exercise bike. So on the exercise bike, I'll have him at quite a low effort level, and I'll get him to do work on the exercise bike for 20 minutes, sub-maximally, so about 70 to 80% of his max heart rate, just as a way of really strengthening his cardiac muscle and improving his overall aerobic endurance, which is really important for him based on some of his health issues that he's made clear to me, which need improving vitally. So moving on to week 3, we've got working on some legs and shoulders. So we're going to start off with a back squat. So he's going to stand tall with feet just wider than shoulder width apart, holding a barbell across the back of the shoulders. Keeping your chest up and core braced, squat down until your thighs are at least parallel to the floor. Drive back up through your heels to return to the start. So that's technique, but I'd like him to complete a total of 5 sets of 10 reps. In the first set, do 10 reps of just the bar to get used to the technique. And then for the following 3 sets, do 10 reps of 10 kg added to the bar. Then I'm going to move on to the overhead press. So this involves standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a barbell across the top of your chest with hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart, keeping your chest up and core braced. Press the bar overhead until your arms are straight, and then carefully and gently lower back to the start. Complete 5 sets of 8 reps. For the first 2 sets without any weight, again to be able to get used to the technique, and then for the last 3 sets, add 10 kg to the bar to test the muscles. After that, we'll have a barbell split squat. So stand tall with feet just wider than shoulder width apart, holding a bar across the back of your shoulders. Keeping your chest up, take a big step forwards with your right foot, then bend both knees to 90 degrees. Drive back through your right foot to return to the start. Repeat for 6 reps, then switch legs and do another 6 reps with your left foot forwards. So I'd like him to do a total of 5 sets. Obviously he'll do 12 reps in each set, 6 on each leg. First you do 1 without any weight, and then for the last 4 try and add 20 kg onto the bar. But like I've said before, and this is the same for any exercise, if it feels like it's too much for him and he can't deal with it, it's best to lower the weight to avoid any injury of some kind. Finally then we have the lateral raise. So stand tall, holding a light dumbbell on each hand by your sides, palms facing each other, keeping your chest up, your core braced, and a slight bend in your elbows. Raise the weights out to shoulder height, tying your thumbs down at the top, then lower them back to the start. So I'd like him to complete 5 sets of 8 reps, and he'll like him to use an 8 kg dumbbell for all reps and sets. So this is going to be significant for my client based on the goal that he made clear for himself. He wants to improve his general hypertrophy of the muscles and upper body strength. So this is going to help him massively with helping to improve the goal that he wants. So yeah. And then finally for week 3 on the Thursday, I'm going to get him to do continuous training, a 25-minute run at a moderate intensity. So this time I'm actually going to get him to go running out on the streets, not on a treadmill, which might push him a bit more because it might be a bit of a change in terrain. This will be really good for helping develop his cardiovascular endurance and obviously his aerobic endurance based on some of his heart issues he has.